So I think there are two interesting challenges at the moment. Firstly, in moving towards more advanced technologies, digitizing, automating, bringing that world into the trading domain, and how does that work in a very risk-averse and highly regulated environment. And it's really all about quality again in that sense, and trying to ensure that you're building trust. So it's very easy to take these technologies, take AI for instance, and feed that into your processes. But ultimately, if you don't have human trust of the outcomes of that, then you lack the quality you need to be able to make trusted decisions and therefore derive any real business value. So it's about ensuring that you're doing that with quality in mind. And there are various methods of doing that. It's not as straightforward as just testing a technology landscape as you might do in a traditional sense, but being innovative about how you're assuring that you're working within the close parameters that you need. So for instance, if you were trying to employ machine learning or AI in the sense of pricing new assets or forecasting demand, for instance, you need to work within some very close parameters for you to have then that trust in the data that's coming out. So it's about ensuring that if you're building these advanced technologies these computational technologies into your landscape, that you're doing the due diligence around what it means to trust the outputs. And so you can be quite innovative in that sense. And so those are the challenges that we're really kind of digging into with clients right now. How do you use that technology to still give you that trusted output and derive the business value that you need from it?
Okay.
And the second area is around renewable energy. It's a hot topic. As we move towards a global low carbon economy, most of our clients now in that space are trying to move themselves at the right pace to keep up with the demand of that across the sector. But really importantly, they have to start to be innovative about how they trade those kind of assets. So if you're bringing solar or wind or other renewable energy assets into your portfolio, you've now got to think about more innovative ways of trading. And to support that, you have to think about how technology does that for you. So how are you handling the higher risk profile of what are potentially more volatile energy assets? How are you using some of those advanced technologies I spoke about a moment ago to fundamentally support the kind of data you need to be able to come up with new ways of trading throughout the bid to bill cycle? That means that you stay abreast of the demand, but at the same time stay ahead of the curve when it comes to actually being able to take these assets to market. So it's a really interesting space where kind of politics and the geopolitical pressures around moving towards a low carbon economy cross over with the very advanced technologies that are coming into play as well.
Very interesting. Just coming back to your first point about the use of newer technologies, you touched on AI and machine learning. It sounds like the challenge you're seeing is, on the one hand, clients want to leverage that. On the other hand, they've got to leverage it in a trusted environment so that what comes out of it adds to rather than takes away from the business. Yeah. How are we helping them do that?
So we're making them pause for thought.
Yeah.
It's a really important part of implementing any of these technologies that you take the time to really think about what it is you're trying to achieve. It's very easy to get carried away with fashionable technology. AI is a very fashionable technology, and we want to make sure that it's being used in a very responsible way. So setting those really clear parameters around what it is that you would accept in terms of a quality outcome. And therefore you can derive your pathway towards delivering that technology into your landscape with those set of parameters in mind. And so it's really important that we devise that first and understand where the true business value is in implementing. Looking at AI as an example, for instance, it's also thinking about really how do we engender that trust in the outcomes. So not just in the large language model itself, but also in the data that you might be absorbing, consuming, storing, using that platform. How are we going through the process of actually quality assuring that data is as it should be to give you the outcomes you need? And so there are all manner of ways of doing that. The human element is still a very important part of this. Having that considered view of the outcomes from a human perspective is still a very natural part of the testing process within that space. But also using the technologies in themselves to self-assure, to self-quality assure themselves. So we've talked about this with internally at Digitaire, but also with clients about how you can employ different LLMs to talk to each other. How can they cross-pollinate and cross-quality assure each other in terms of the way they interact in that space, and then assuring the outcomes of that interaction in terms of where it falls within the parameters of the trusted, stable datum that you need to be able to make business decisions.
So using technology to solve the problems that other technologies create.
Forcing technology to solve its own problem.
Yeah, it's great.